Welcome to Get Fact.
I'm going to show you something here, right, that proper creeped me out. It's a little story that's true, but creepy. Let's see if we can find the picture. I screenshotted it, I think, maybe. Where are you? Oh, there. So, there's a family where the nan died, and they encased her into a resin coffee table. So she's dead. Look at that!
Oh my
They
god.
chopped her in half!
They literally have.
Yeah.
They're in,
They've got her cooking food.
it looks like a cube of ice.
It does. She looks like she's encased in an ice cube.
But she doesn't look like
Cooking?
she's...
What's she doing with her hand? She's doing something.
Looks like a knife.
Yeah.
What's
Well, they've
with
had to
the other
chop her in
hand?
half to make that.
What's with the other hand? It looks like she's about to do something out with the Avengers.
That's horrible, isn't it?
Stirring up like a magic trick or something like that.
That shouldn't be a thing.
That's terrible.
You don't want to see that when you
Well,
eat it, do you?
we're going on about that. You mean you think that and think that's terrible that to do it with your family, but people do it with animals.
Yeah, with mosquitoes and stuff.
Did you see that guy who turned his cat into a drone?
That's horrible, wasn't it?
There's a cat flying around.
Yeah. You see some weird things with animals, don't you?
Yeah.
Like the rats.
Yeah.
They dress them up and that, make little statues out of them,
I
make
know.
little circuses and all sorts. That's weird, that.
Why would you do that?
Yeah, that is, to me, that's just creepy. Yeah, don't do that. Did you? Another screenshot straight after that is the heat of the Vesuvius eruption. I'm guessing that was
Vesuvius.
Pompeii. How do you say it?
Vesuvius.
Is that what it is?
Mount
It's Pompeii.
Vesuvius in Pompeii.
Yeah, it was so intense, 968 degrees Fahrenheit at its worst, that a man's brain turned into glass inside his skull.
Well,
That's horrible.
yeah. Well, they found
Did he make his head into a coffee table?
maybe, but they found like shadows where people had been sat where they were just vaporized.
Really?
Yeah,
Shadows?
like you can see burnt scorch marks. On the floor.
I was going to say, you don't leave your shadows
Not a
behind.
shadow. Like, I meant like a scorch mark where they've been sat on the floor.
I was going to say, it's a bad time when your shadows outlive you.
But the guy's been literally vaporized.
Yeah, that's scary, that. Vaporised, that sounds like something out of a sci-fi, doesn't
Yeah, I
it?
know, yeah.
He just... poof,
Because when
into
they
dust.
discovered it, there was obviously there's no body there.
Yeah,
But they just had this
just dust.
what looked like a shadow kind of thing
Yeah, the outprint.
of where he scorched the ground.
Jesus Christ. It's weird, isn't it, when you see like them digging up bodies and that, and they're still there, concrete
Well, they're
bodies.
still
You're like,
digging up.
that's horrible.
They're still digging up Pompeii now.
Yeah. That's creepy, that. Pompeii's fascinating.
I'd like to go there. It's a fascinating place.
Yeah, it is. But it's a bit creepy, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's got to be... If somewhere's haunted, Pompeii's haunted. It's
Oh yes.
got to be, hasn't
I'm
it?
surprised they haven't done any of these haunted shows there.
Haunted? Yeah.
That's us. We'll have to do it. Be the first.
Do an Ouija board in Pompeii.
Yeah.
You'd not be able to hear it, would you? Be overcrowded. You just hear people
God, yeah.
shouting everywhere. Shh! One at a time. Bloody hell.
There is a queue, you know.
No, we're talking about the dead horrible there, aren't we?
Yeah.
Right, Adele came home the other day and she mentioned that somebody had said that they normally match the boxes with the socks. I didn't know that was a thing. Did you?
No.
Do you do that?
No.
I thought it was like a girl thing, knickers and bras.
I know.
Don't do that with boxes, do you?
Just grab a pair of boxers. And
You just got time for that. I don't think I've got the coloured socks for boxers that I've got.
Well, I've got boxes with like an illuminous belt band. I've got no illuminous coloured socks.
That's what I mean.
Not had luminous socks since the 80s.
I try and do like plain socks. I've got socks from Christmas with like bright blues. Like, what am I wearing them with? They're bright, and you always see me ankles. Do you know what I mean? And you can't wear bright white when you're wearing pants because you look like Michael Jackson. Your little ankles like, check these socks. Have you ever heard of Project Pigeon?
No.
In World War Two, there was pigeons that they used to train, and they used to train them by getting this circly glass thing, and there was a target in the middle of the circle, and they used to get this pigeon to keep tapping that middle of that screen so that it'd open up a flap and feed them, and that's all they learned, how to tap this perfect centre of this circly glass.
Right.
And then eventually they'd get these pigeons and they'd put them into this missile craft, and then they'd send out the missile, and to keep that directed at that ship, they'd get this pigeon tapping in the centre so it's guarding the missile. The first ever guarded missiles was pigeons.
Wow.
And it was hitting perfectly. Say 55% of the time it was happening perfect. So they was going to go through with that, and instead they said, no, we can't use them because pigeons can't see at night.
Right.
So they couldn't see the targets. So they scrapped the idea and went with sounds instead.
Wow.
So we nearly had a war with pigeons. Project Pigeon. That's cool though, isn't it? You can train a pigeon to like guard a missile without even knowing. What am I doing, guys? Yeah, you're just tapping that screen there. Boom.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you just blew a ship up. Crazy that.
Operation Pigeon is underway.
Yeah, it's weird what you can do with pigeons though, isn't it? Because when we was playing football today, there's some guy brought like 4 big crates and put them up field. I thought,
Oh, yeah.
bloody hell, they've got a big picnic. It's like, Jesus Christ, how much food's he got? And then you see little things moving like, they're pigeons? Watch this in a minute. And let them all in, they just fly around like you're walking your dog.
Yeah.
But it's pigeon, and they just come back and land straight back in and go
Oh,
home.
did they go back in?
Yeah.
All right.
They all just fly around together as a group, and then they come back and just fly in.
I know they do that with pigeon racing, don't they?
Yeah.
They release a load and then they go home.
They go to a different place, don't they? Yeah.
Well, they're supposed to go back home.
To
Home
a
in pigeon.
target, yeah.
And then, but I don't know how do they monitor that? Because how do you determine the winner?
Well, they're tagged, aren't they? There'll be like little tags on their feet, like number 22.
No, but
Razor.
if you release him in a park along with other people,
Yeah.
and then you then go back home where you keep
Oh,
your pigeons.
yeah, your home.
Yeah.
Everyone's different zones.
Yeah.
Like, use
So
one.
you could have someone who's 50 mile away, someone who's
So
20.
you'd have to have a record holder, wouldn't you?
Well,
At
you'd have
every
to have-
house.
Yeah. So,
And then whichever bird came first, like, we've got 22 here coming in.
yeah.
And then, yeah, that's probably...
Well, because there's nothing to stop you from saying, oh yeah, mine's turned up.
I'll pay you 20 quid for that, you know.
That's
I've got $1 million on this, I'll pay you 20 quid.
it was a very bizarre sport, that.
Pigeon racing.
Yeah.
Is it still happening?
I think it still happens, yeah.
He must do, because he's training pigeons for fly right field and come back. So
Maybe he's doing it World War 3.
maybe he's got them missile pigeons.
He's a government agent training them.
Training them. They use animals all the time, don't they? You get like dolphins that they stick missiles to, don't they, for blow submarines up. Seen that?
You know? No. Not heard of that one.
Have you not?
No.
Yeah, they get like little dolphins, they strap like missiles to their back, and they train them to like follow these submarines, and then when they're close enough on the cameras and that, they just set them off.
Yeah.
Dolphins blowing up ships. It's crazy.
Did they ever use dogs in World War II for anything?
I think they did. There's films about that, isn't there?
A dog dressed up in a Mac and sunglasses and
Not like that.
giving secret codes and handshakes.
No, but they use dogs for like sniffing out bombs, don't they?
Yeah.
Stuff, yeah. I'm just a human. Ignore me.
I am not here.
There's horses as well they used to use, isn't there? War horses.
Yeah.
There's a film about that as well.
Yeah.
We're horrible, aren't we? Use animals us for our own sake.
I know, yeah.
I'm surprised they don't like use big things like gorillas. Send a gorilla in. That well distract you, wouldn't it? The fuck's that?
Go in and annihilate a whole army.
Just come in smashing
You'd be like,
things.
what the hell?
What have they sent in here? Stick camo on and armoured vests on it.
It'd be like that scene out of Planet of the Apes.
Yeah, just going mental.
Yeah.
I wonder if that'll ever happen.
Do you reckon?
Well, based on what I said, when they're evolving. Imagine
Yeah,
if they
well,
evolved
that's
to
it,
the
yeah.
point where
Jeez.
they can talk. As soon as they start talking.
You never know, you might have an ape on as a guest.
Yeah.
So, what do you do? Right.
I know, what accent would they have? A proper strong London accent.
That's how you imagine, innit?
Yeah.
Right.
It's nice to be on.
Nice to be here.
I've seen that gorillas can walk like humans while we're on the subject.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you seen that video?
I thought monkey is ape. It's ape or a monkey can do it as well. Stood
Stood up.
upright.
Yeah. They just walk like humans. It's weird. You think that's... You know what I don't understand, though? They said, like, chimps are the closest to us with 95% DNA. But then you search up, gorillas are close to DNA. It said 97. You're like, well, and they're closer then? They're 97. I don't get that.
I think it's more to do with the characteristics.
I don't know, maybe. But orangutans are 96% as well.
Yeah. I think all apes are very highly connected.
Yeah, I think orangutans are just Irish chimps, aren't they? Ginger chimps.
Oh, top of the morning to you.
I've got all my lucky fruit.
Oh, Chef, for bullying me. Look at your arms.
Have you seen them videos that's going around at the moment with rumours about taste receptors in your testicles?
No.
Well, there's a fad where people will dip in the testicles in soy sauce, and apparently your balls can taste it. But it's not true.
Who came up with that?
Debunked. You have got taste receptors in your testicles, but they don't actually have any connection to your brain.
Well, I'm not.
So they're saying you'd have to rip your testicles open to dip them in soy sauce, but even then you won't be able to taste it because there's no connection to your brain. So it's a lot of waffle. And anyway, we're going to pause this because our next guest is on in 7 minutes. So
cue the music.
Yep. See you soon. And we're back, and our guest is ready to join. Hello.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
You alright?
Hello there.
I'm just launching the OBS to record the video, if that's alright.
Yeah, absolutely.
Don't know why it's taking ages. Hang on. Oh, it's already set up, that's why. Sorted. Weren't that painful, that was it? How are you? I feel like I know you already. We've been talking that long.
I know, right?
I couldn't believe that when you seen the front page of my script, he was like, yeah, that needs changing, that needs changing. Like, Jesus, I'm not sending you a script then. There'd be so many errors.
Honestly, it's got nothing to do with just being nitpicky. It's literally just being like, hey, when I first started out, so many people were just like, oh yeah, cool, whatever, and like honestly, like people don't get better if you don't learn. You need to learn first and then you get better. So any little thing that, like, even on my scripts, from the get-go, I would literally tell everybody, I was like, literally shit on it. And that's wrong with it.
Yeah, it's the only way you learn, isn't it?
Yeah,
definitely. So we'll jump straight in. Your name is Yonash Antoinette. Did I get it right?
Oh, Yonash. So my name is Yonash Breneman. Yonash Anthony. The reason that our Google is like this is because me and my partner, we share the Out of the Garage Entertainment email. Right.
I don't know why I said that, to be honest. I knew your name. I just read that. It was just easier. Yeah. And your movie is The Death of Us. And You've done much more. But that's the one that I've recently watched and bloody enjoyed it. It's a great film.
No, I'm glad you guys enjoyed it. Definitely. It means a lot.
And you was in that yourself, weren't you?
Yeah, I had a couple of bit parts. It was really hard to cast during lockdowns and COVID. So, I had to, you know what? Who could be a small enough character that I could play and I could be able to film if one of the other actors were to hold the camera? Boyfriend, no longer in the picture, over Zoom.
Yeah. How did you find acting?
What's up?
How did you find acting? How did you find that?
I mean, I love acting, honestly. Like it's one of the first things that I was really diving for when I first came to LA. But I went on so many auditions that, like, I looked at the scripts and I was like, really? Like, you guys get paid for this? So I started learning how to, script myself. And obviously, you can't, knock a zinger out of the park the first one around. Of course, I looked at my scripts afterwards and I was like, wow, this is dog crap too. But at least, like, you start kind of thinking of the ideas and you start learning how to, speak dialogue and everything like that. And within a year, I kind of wrote something for myself to be in. It was called it was a web series called Belligerent Drunks and Paranoid Stoners. And it was this, kind of almost like a Sunny in Philadelphia type comedy about, two drunks and two stoners living in LA trying to basically make it in the industry. The two drunks were band members, and the two stoners were actor and manager duo. And it was basically just all the, goofy things that these guys would get themselves into. And one of my friends that was actually also one of the characters, he was nice enough to kind of give us his house for the entirety of the first season. And that's how we were able to actually film that whole entire thing. And then by the time we went to the second season, I'd already started taking writing a little bit more seriously with my other partner, and we kind of drifted down a dramatic path. And then dramatic ended up being horror movies, and then one thing led to the next, and 10 years later finally made a feature.
What horror film did you do?
So we started basically writing a couple of different horror films because the manager that we had at the time, they were really just like, hey, horror's easy to sell. You don't need actors, you don't need money, you can actually just film things, as long as you can get the, climax and, all that kind of stuff in the proper places. And we literally spent maybe a year just writing like concept after concept that was just horror based, and it really drained me. I was like, I don't ever want to look at another horror film again. And because we ended up separating from the manager and nothing really came of it, so it was kind of just like, okay, that was a waste of time. So shortly after that, me and my partner Anthony, we actually split up for a few years. He kind of went down his path and I went down mine. I was dealing with a lot of depression at the time, and that was really kind of an eye-opener in the aspect of, you choose to live or you choose to, just kind of wash away. And the one thing that, saved my life was getting back into scripting. And I wrote a script called The Last Retreat, and it's basically about 6 strangers that go up to the mountains to kill themselves.
Oh, is that the one you was talking about when you said about depression?
Yeah.
Right. Did you ever make anything of that? Because you said you got a script.
So the script is in its, I think, 4th rewrite, and I feel pretty good with it. And it's something that I want to direct. So it's really hard to get money for a drama, especially being a new coming, director out the gate and stuff like that. So this is definitely going to be one that I'm going to sit on a little bit until I can have enough oomph behind me to be able to actually direct it myself. Yeah.
I feel like, that'd be a hard way to kill yourself all that when you go to a mountain, because you'd see at the top how beautiful it is. You'd be like, you know what, change my mind. World's nice.
I mean, honestly, when it comes to, like the vision of things, when you're trying to pitch yourself, especially as a director, it's the one thing that a lot of investors don't realize is someone that wrote it that also has a director's mindset. Yeah, you can find somebody that can direct it and interpret it, but the thing is, I've been watching this movie over and over for the last 4 years.
Yeah, in your head.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. That's the same with me. Whenever I come up with an idea, I've already seen it, but I can never film what I want to see in my head. Because it's too cost efficient, it costs too much to make.
See, but the thing is, you'll eventually find how to... kind of parlay the information in your head onto paper, and then from paper into camera, as long as you keep doing it, the more times that you do it, you start to realize what corners, can be cut. Like even yesterday, I was watching a film and I was like, wow, that press conference is literally just a curtain in the background, 2 flags, a podium, and 3 microphones. And honestly, you don't see anything else. And anyone else is going to be like, oh, this is, in a press conference hall and all this kind of stuff. Like when you're looking at it, you're just like, no, all you need is this, and this, and boom, you got your production value out the roof.
Yes, it's crazy.
So the more times you do it, you'll start to realize that that there are a lot of corners to be cut, and if you do them properly, you can make nothing look like something amazing.
Yeah. What's your favourite sort of movie genre to film or to write a script for?
So I love drama. Drama is always going to be my number one. Kind of more like the gritty drama though. It has to be kind of like a Breaking Bad. Or like a Sons of Anarchy. Even though you could say it's very action packed, it's at its core, it's an amazing drama. And that's the kind of stuff that I really want to do is, stuff that keeps people on the edge of their seat, stuff that, really is, kind of like M. Night Shyamalan, his like, what a twist, and stuff like that, where in a perfect world, that's exactly the kind of stuff that I would love to do over and over again. However, you do know that, every project has its own special magic. Yeah. So you don't really know until you get into it that what you really want to do. Yeah. But to answer that question, gritty drama for sure, but I love all types of movies. It's
yeah. So have you ever thought about doing a series? As you said, like 2 series there. Would you do your own?
Yeah, I would love to do series. Me and my partner, we actually wrote so many series. We ended up doing pitch decks and everything else. And the biggest problem with writing series was, you get into a room, you pitch the idea, and they're just like, well, you haven't done anything yet, so we're not going to trust you to be a showrunner. Yeah. And you go, thank you for your time.
Right, is that what they based it on? So do they separate movies to series? So if you've done movies, it doesn't matter. You've not done a series, so you're not getting it.
Yeah. But the thing is, you can. I'm not gonna say it's easy, but I'm gonna say that it's easier to be able to, kind of do a film, and then from film you start getting enough of a name that people start trusting you with more, and you can do maybe a series, down the line. So. Right. That's definitely something that, like, The Death of Us is, it's already open doors, as we speak, because it was something that nobody wanted to give us money. Nobody wanted to, give us that trust and faith in doing a feature. But the second that we did it on our own, all of a sudden you have people that are, knocking on your door like, hey, I want to work with you. That's the thing with Hollywood that sucks the most is nobody cares until you've already won. And once you've won, then they're like, hey, so what else you got?
Yeah.
Suddenly they become your best friend.
Yeah. So did you have to fund it yourself then? The Death of Us?
So The Death of Us, yes. That was actually really the 4 people on top of my writing partner. He was over Zoom the whole entire movie between writing and just kind of showing him the dailies and being like, hey, so what do you think? And then the 2 actors, Aku and Dana, they were both every single day, just ready for pages. We actually started on April 7th. So to go back a little bit further, so March 15th, we all lost our jobs, basically. That's when COVID kind of hit LA to the point of like, hey, you guys need to say goodbye and stay at home. And we were like, okay. So it was probably about 2.5 weeks of just drinking, watching Netflix, and eating, a cup of noodles. Before finally, one day I was probably still drunk from the night before, but I saw Aku, kind of walking in the house, and I was like, hey, we should make a movie. And he's like, yeah, I like that idea. So like a 5-minute film or something? And I said, no, we should do a feature. And he goes, get the fuck out of here. Okay, I guess no on that one. And then I brought up the idea to Dana, and she was just like, oh yeah, so like a short film. And I said, no, we should do a feature. She goes, get the fuck out of here. All right, one last person. Call up Anthony on Zoom, and I'm just like, hey, so how we doing? He's like, yeah, good, drinking, or no, he's not a drinker, he's a smoker, but he's like, yeah, smoking, watching Netflix, kind of just living it up. And I was like, oh, that's cool. Hey, so I have an idea. Do you want to make a movie? And he's just like, oh yeah, I was thinking we should probably go back and rewrite some of the scripts that we did. And I was like, no, I was thinking about doing one from scratch. And he goes, oh, okay, that's cool. So I don't know, we'll probably be in lockdown for about 3 months. So yeah, let's work on something new. And I said, yeah, but I was thinking about also filming it. And he goes, what? Get the fuck out of here. All right. So everybody told me no, technically.
Yeah.
And then within a week, everyone kind of came back to me and was like, hey, so if we were to do this, what do you have in mind? Yeah. I said, I have no idea. I just we can do a movie. Yeah. So Anthony and I, we kind of just sat down and we started, brainstorming like, oh, what can we do? And furthest from our mind was doing anything involved with COVID. You know, we were just like, oh, we got a big black burly dude and we got a little white girl. We were like, oh, we're gonna do a home invasion movie. But what if we twist it around and what if she's the invader and he's in the home? And then we're just sitting there, just like, you know, throwing literally just crap on the wall, and we're just like, man, okay, so what if there's this virus?
Yeah.
And we really leaned into it, you know. We were just like, you know what? There's so much production value around LA right now because, like, a lot of those shots that we got from literally just going out, you know. Like, we went out at midnight downtown Hollywood, and we were able to get a $1 million shot just because the whole entire world was shut down. Like, literally, I hung out as far as I could out the window and basically was like, all right, action. And, you know, had Aku basically driving next, and, you know, I'm sitting there. I got like the phone in between my legs, you know, and I'm just like, okay, drive slower. And I'm just like, okay, you need to speed up. And we were able to get that shot with like no people, no cars, nothing in the way, and it was amazing. So, you know, after getting a couple of those shots, we were like, yo, like this is the one we need to do. And instead of making COVID the forefront of the story, we decided to make it the B story, because we knew that the mental impact that it was going to have on people, because even us in 3 weeks, you know, it was mentally draining being stuck in home. So we really leaned into that with the story. And we basically started, you know, kind of conceptualizing. We were writing one day. We were handing off pages that evening. The actors were studying, and sometimes it would be just the evening. And then we would shoot the next day. And we kind of got into a rhythm. And from concept to script to in the can, it took us 2 months.
Yeah. Well,
whose house was it filmed in? Or was it filmed in the studio?
Going to ask that.
Oh, was you?
Yeah.
So the house that it was filmed in is actually the house that we live in.
Okay.
So myself, Aku, and Dana, you know, we share a house, and we got one other roommate. And during the course of the filming, it was very much like, okay, so who's going to use their rooms as their rooms, and then who's going to use their rooms as somebody else's room, and we really just kind of put it together. And, you know, luckily, like, the house itself is actually not your typical LA home, you know, so it's got 3 bedrooms plus we have a garage in the back with a loft above it, you know, so we were able to utilize that for like the Katie workout scenes. And then, you know, we had the broken down car in the driveway in front of the garage that Aku's working on in the beginning of the film, you know, so we were able to like literally utilize every inch and corner of the property.
Was it all edited in the house as well, or did you wait until lockdown had lifted?
So editing and everything else. So, you know, going back to budget, we shot the whole thing for nothing. Honestly, like everyone contributed, you know, when it came to, you know, like Dana, hair and makeup, and, you know, anything that we needed that was last minute, we maybe spent $50, you know, on an extra like piece of clothes, or, you know, we needed actually get like, you know, oil stains for, you know, Aku's character to put on his face, you know, being a mechanic and all. And then once we got it in the can, that's when, you know, we started kind of really debating like, okay, so what are we going to necessarily do? At the time, I just had a MacBook Air, and I said, I've edited short films on my computer, and after a 10-minute short film, my thing looks like it's so hot it's about to explode. I was like, I can't do this thing. You know, so we started basically, you know, looking into an editor, which also, you know, kind of worked in our favor, because they say that a film goes in, you know, into three phases. You know, you have your writer's movie, you have your director's movie, and then you have your editor's movie. And they can very much be 3 different films. So what was really great about getting another editor is because, you know, I interpreted it. Oh my God, I can't even say that word right now. Interpret.
You sound like us when we're talking on these mics, because we can hear ourselves like delayed, so we end up saying big words. Weird.
So, you know, I ended up directing what Anthony and I wrote, but then when, we would go to the editing bay, it was like, you know what? It's not fair to the film, actually, for us to be the ones to edit it as well. We needed somebody else with fresh eyes because we'd literally lived and breathed this movie for the last 2 months.
Yeah.
So we found somebody that originally took it on. They were going to edit it. And after 2 months, we were like, hey, can we see something? And they said, we haven't even started.
What?
Okay. Yeah. So do you not want to do this? No, I do. You just, give me some time. We're like, nah, give me the film back.
Yeah.
So we took the film back, and then through a friend, we ended up finding another editor. And that editor basically was like, hey, I'm $500 a day. We said, hey, we can't afford that. And he said, well, let me think on it and whatever else. And he ended up actually coming down on his rate, and said like, hey, I believe in what you guys are doing. I'd like to help out. So he did just that. And by the end of 2020, we actually had our first cut of the film, which was great. It took a little bit longer, but we finally got there. And then we were like, okay, so we need to find a composer, color correctionist, sound design, all this other stuff. The composer was definitely a flail in the wind, which was incredible. Anthony's like, hey, I think I know this guy I went to college with. He's out here like doing music for film, I think. I said, okay, hit him up. He hits him up. He's like, the guy's on board. He said he'll do it, and whatever we can afford. It was like, okay, cool. So, we worked out a decent rate with him. And then we looked him up on IMDb. Well, this gentleman definitely did like all the episodes of How I Met Your Mother. He did like the whole run of the series, Switched at Birth. He had one of the Hercules movies under his belt. I'm like, Anthony, he came out here and you think he's doing music? Like, what?
Jesus.
So that was amazing. And then color correction, honestly, like this movie was put together by, the grace of God. Like I was at work and we have these vans that we have to move, so our clients can, park in front of the studios and stuff. And I was moving one of the vans and, people always put like flyers and cards in there. Normally I just take them and I throw them in the wind and I'm like, goodbye with you. And this one time, I actually decided to look at one, and it said, Elliot the colorist. Interesting. So I hit him up, and I was like, hey, I know you're probably trying to get a job at Smashbox and everything, but would you want to color a feature film? And he ended up, basically kind of, being like, well, what can you guys offer? I've done features before, blah, 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 blah. And also, completely out of our price range. But he basically told me, he said, hey, get me an interview, with the people over there, and I'll do the film for X amount. And we were like, all you need is an interview? Do they have to say yes? And he's like, no, just get me in the door. I was like, done. So we ended up getting them. And then the last thing was, getting sound design. And we ended up, honestly, sound design is one of the most expensive things to get done because you kind of take away I'm not going to say you take away the joy, but I think that it's one of the most tedious things to do in a film, because you're basically just doing sound effects. And, I think that people really, it is a craft that you need to be absolutely exquisite in to really nail it properly, and they know that. So they're like, hey, so you want to do a film? $20,000.
Jesus.
We don't have that. That's not even a quarter of our budget that we spent on post-production. So we ended up finding this group of guys that were just absolutely phenomenal. His name is Kunal and his team, and they kind of took us on and gave us a really great rate. And it was still above what we could necessarily afford. But, we ended up just kind of making it happen. And then we finally were ready to hit the festival circuit. And on the festival circuit, we took home multiple awards, including Best Actress here in LA. And that really was a launch pad. Right. And then we spent the following year basically trying to find distribution. And eventually we found somebody that was like, wow, you guys look like crazy assholes. Let's
See, that's like us at the moment. We've got like this podcast, but at the minute, it's just like a money pit. Just putting money into it and into it. But the way I see it is, I could be addicted to golf and be putting money into nothing, where I'm putting money into something that maybe returns something back to me in the future. So I'm enjoying it, putting money into it, but it might return something back to me in the venture. So,
and it will. If it's honestly anything that you love, if you do it first as a passion, then eventually it can become your life. It's the people that go into something chasing money, which, to be honest, I think we're all a little bit guilty of that. When I first came into writing and scripting and stuff, I was just like, ooh, I have a good brain that can think of stuff. Let me sell it. I can make money, And it's honestly like the second that exited my mind, and, which took years, but, eventually when I was like, you know what, I am happy with my life where I'm at, but I'm still going to pursue this until the end, the end of my, last breath. And the second I started doing that, like, things have really started to progress, So I think that if you keep passion first, then eventually, if it's something that's meant to be, it will always become. Yeah.
So with me, I started acting, say, like 2 years ago. So to me, it was like kind of like a midlife crisis almost. It's like all my life I've not known what to do, but I like drama in school, so I'm going to start acting. And I went to like a few productions with like other actors, and he was telling me, I've done theatre, I've been acting for 20 years, blah, blah, blah. And I'm kind of like, oh yeah, I started last week. Do you know what I mean? And it's kind of like, they're looking at me like, you shouldn't be here. Do you know what I mean? You shouldn't be in this production with me. Sorry, I'm here. I just want to try it. Yeah, I've enjoyed it ever since.
You need to. So many people, like, that's the thing that sucks is like, okay, do you have to be a child anytime that you pursue something in order for people to take you seriously? It's like, no. No, you look at some of the greats even, Morgan Freeman. Obviously, he'd been acting prior to then, but he didn't make his big break until his 50s, It's just like, no, you decide to pursue something when you decide you're finally ready for it.
Exactly,
So yeah, like different. anybody that says that kind of stuff is like, it's so annoying to me because I'm just like, no.
You find your thing when you find it.
Yeah, some people have a late start in life, but at the end of the day, at least they found what they're, wanting to do. So let them do it. Don't stand in their way saying, "Oh my God, I can't believe you're 30-something years old and you have no experience doing this." How am I supposed to experience if you're not allowing me to get it?
Exactly. So was you not nervous when you sent off your movie to someone else to edit?
Absolutely.
I'd be scared in case it came back 3 minutes long. That's the good bits. Thanks, I've got a trailer.
No, absolutely. It's always definitely something to be nervous about. I was even nervous in filming. Like, I'd gotten everybody to say yes, and 2 minutes into the making of it, I was like, man, where are we going? It's a sinking ship. So it's just like, you're always going to get nervous because when people finally put that faith in you, when people finally put that trust in you, you kind of start to doubt yourself because you're just like, oh man, I got you to believe in me, and I don't even believe in me sometimes. Right. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So to be able to actually hand something over with confidence, you definitely get to that point where you're just like, look, I did the best I could. And I know that the best I could is better than someone not trying. So if you're going to go into something confidently, people are going to look at it and, regardless, there's always going to be two things that come out of it. Either A, you get something that's absolutely magical and something that's going to, progress your career forward, or B, they're going to completely tear it apart.
Yeah.
But you can either choose to, walk away from it and say you're wrong, or you can look at it and say, well, why did you tear it apart? And you learn the lessons of how you can get better. And at the end of the day, no matter which outcome, you're still going to get better for it.
Yeah. So in regards to Aku and Dana, you said they just came on board with the film. So you didn't pay them outright then for to be acting in it?
No, my pitch was, hey, act in this film. Not only are you going to be a lead actor and a lead actress, but you'll also be a producer on this.
So you get to do a bit of wiggle room for what you want to do.
Exactly. And I think that anybody, when it comes to acting, especially out here, a lot of people, as long as it's something that A, makes sense, and B, is going to, further their resume, then you're going to most of the times get a yes. If it's not a crap idea. If it's something that can at least intrigue them, most of the time it's going to be a yes. Yeah. But if you also add in the fact of, hey, this is your first chance and opportunity to be also a producer on this, and we all co-produced it together, so that was also something that was, brand new for everybody outside of myself. Everyone was kind of like, oh, I've never produced anything before, So it's like, you kind of just give them that extra little bonus, and everybody is gonna completely give it their full hearts and all. Even myself as a producer, sometimes I don't even know what that word means. I'm just like, what do you mean? We put a movie together, then we slice it together, and then we give it to other people, and they're supposed to do other stuff with it, right? Like, is that producing? I don't know.
So, in regards to, your movie's on Amazon now. So let's say I buy that for £5 to watch. Who gets that money? Do you get like £1 each?
So we don't exactly know all the breakdowns yet because we are still completely fresh into it. What I believe kind of happens is you have your first quarter, and whatever happens in the first quarter, you don't actually tally until the second quarter, so you don't technically see it possibly until the third quarter. Right. That's how I think it goes, but I'm not 100% sure because, we're still so fresh in this that our distribution company has yet to, sit down with us and be like, hey, so this is how your movie's done so far.
Yeah. So you don't see the numbers of how many people's watched it?
No.
Oh, you don't see that?
No, we don't have any idea. That's all given to the distributor, and then hopefully the distributor shows us that stuff. Yeah,
because I've heard Netflix do the same. Like, you can record a series, and then they'll not let you know how well it's doing until the end. They say either, we'll have season 2, or, nah, it's rubbish. Do you know what I mean? So you're waiting until the end of the season?
Well, I mean, they should let you know, like I said, depending on what your relationships are and everything else, you should definitely, like, let's say the series opened, on the first weekend. By the end of that weekend, obviously, depending on your relationship, you'll probably know. Right. But with something like this, it's not something that's, stream to play. It's not subscription based. It's very much like, hey, the amount of views and all that kind of stuff. So they're not going to sit there and tally it over the course of a weekend. They're going to tally it over the course of a quarter, which is, 3 months. And then at the end of that 3 months, they have to tally everything along with the 1,000 other films that they have. Yeah. And then they send out the numbers. And then, your distributor is supposed to basically sit down with you and say, hey, this is how it's done. And this is our game plan for the next phase. And, this and that. So, that part I'm still very much interested in seeing how it's going to pan out. I know my writing partner, he's constantly like, so did we hear from the distributor yet?
That'd be me, that.
So has this movie, and obviously being nominated as a producer as well, has it helped Aku's music career?
So Aku hasn't actually done really that much as far as music goes for a while, I think. He's very much been focused on, getting into acting and really honing that craft. He's a
fantastic actor.
Excuse me?
Fantastic actor. Watch that film. He just fits. He's perfect.
Yeah, no, he did a phenomenal job. I thought everybody did a exquisite job. But I think he's definitely also gotten an opportunity recently. He told me that he got to read for another lead role, and fingers crossed that's going to be his next project coming soon.
Oh, brilliant!
What sort of work had Dana done before?
So Dana has done. What's up?
She's been in a lot herself. Like, I've seen her resume. She's been in quite a few things.
Yeah, she's done definitely stuff in the past, and since I met her back in 2020, she expressed to me that she really kind of got out of the acting world a little bit and started focusing more on commercial and stuff like that. And then, you know, I think everyone reaches that point in their career where they kind of just really get that lull where I'm not going to say that you necessarily stop believing in yourself, but you kind of really get that downside of just like, you know, what's the point anymore? And I believe that, you know, she may have kind of gotten there, and that's what, you know, threw her kind of into the commercial direction. She was just like, you know what, this isn't the same type of, you know, dramatic acting. This is, you know, basically coming on screen and, you know, promoting a product. And so I think that's why, you know, she got there. But then, you know, once we met, you know, it was kind of just like, you know, did a couple of like little snippet things, and, you know, a short film actually with Aku as well. And then, you know, we did The Death of Us. And I think that, you know, really kind of brought back that courage and, you know, kind of wherewithal to really want to push forward with acting again. And also, the producing aspect is something that she's extremely leaned into, because after The Death of Us, she's actually been working with this other producer, and they're putting together a project. And myself and Anthony actually just got brought on last month to help with the rewrites on it. So, you know, it's definitely also grown in that aspect.
Good.
So whose idea was, spoiler alert, the little nude scene in the shower?
Oh,
whose idea was that?
Well, no, like, honestly, like, the thing that I love most about something like, you know, the shower scene is it shows absolute and utter just it's like an infant stage, you know. It shows somebody's like supreme, I can't even think of the word right now, I know the damn word, but vulnerability. There we go. It shows the vulnerability of the character, you know, and especially after what happens in the story at that point, you know, it really allows this person, you know, how many of us, even as, you know, even as men, you know, it's just like, I'm not going to cry out in public, but, you know, in the shower, you let yourself kind of just like really, you know, drop into your emotion. And that's the main reason that we kind of did that scene, is because it really just kind of established vulnerability.
Again, another spoiler. The scene, well, it felt like there was a connection between Dana and Aku. Was that on purpose? Because that way through, you think they're definitely going to do something together.
See, yes, and that's the thing, you know, when it comes to creating a film, especially of this, you know, where you do have two characters stuck in the same house, it's extremely easy for a writer to go down the path of, oh, you know what? So the boyfriend's gone, and eventually they're gonna, you know, connect and all that kind of stuff. And we were just like, you know what? Let's not take the easy route on this. Let's take the, you know, road less traveled. And we wanted to keep them best friends, because we felt that relationship was gonna, you know, launch that much further, you know, is because it wasn't easy. You know, you have to find love for one another despite there not being that sexual tension. You know? So, you know, we made that decision. We, you know, like I said, we had thought about it. We were like, oh, hey, why don't we just, like, you know, make them put together after, you know, the whole Devon thing goes down. You know? And we were just like, no, let's keep their relationship very, you know, pure. Let's keep it friendship. That way, you know, once the ending came, you know, that purity really shined through, because they did it for each other, you know, as friends.
In a way, that was a twist in itself, wasn't it? Because you're expecting something and it didn't happen. I went to LA, I'm fuming. Yeah, it was brilliant. So have you got any more projects coming up, Lara?
Yeah, like I said, the big one that we're really leaning into right now is the one that, you know, Dana brought to the table for us, that she's gonna, you know, co-produce, and we're hopefully gonna stay on as the writers once they see our stuff.
Right.
But yeah, no, the upcoming one, you know, it's called Dead Mall, and it's definitely gonna be horror based. It's a slasher, so I think it can be a lot of fun.
Sounds like my cup of tea.
Well, we're on about doing a full podcast in like one of these haunted houses, but at the same time, because we started acting, we're thinking we can do a podcast, film, haunted house scene. Do you know what I mean? Just put it all together, do a bit of everything.
There you go. Hell yeah.
Yeah. Do you believe in all that? HQS, do you believe in ghosts?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe in ghosts because I lived in a house that was definitely 100% haunted.
Right? Because our guest next week is actually a ghost investigator. So, brilliant.
That'll be interesting.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, no, I believe in ghosts. I believe in the afterlife. I believe in angels and demons. Like,
right?
Yeah, all of that stuff to me makes absolute perfect sense because, you know, kind of like water. You know, whatever our body is, whether you believe in a soul or whatever, you know, I think it just transforms. You know, it's energy that kind of just finds a new place, and
right.
You know, it's truly hard to believe. You know, I understand that, you know, people have their beliefs, you know, but when it comes to like atheism and stuff, I'm just like, really? You're telling me that with as much like foresight as a human becomes, you know, to have, with everything that we can think of, and like even us being able to in recent years, you know, like even being able to, you know, on the verge of clone technology and stuff like that. I mean, it just came out last week that they can actually make a fetus without a sperm or an egg.
Right. I've never heard that before.
Yeah, it came out last week. Like this is like a brand new technology. I want to say it's out of Japan or something like that.
That's weird.
Yeah, they're basically taking like embryos. They're cloning the embryo, and then they're basically making everything synthetic. And yeah, they're able to make a fetus without even having a sperm and an egg. And I'm just okay. So if we're here, you're gonna tell me that even if you don't believe in God, you're telling me that there's not some like child 1,000 years from now that basically is using us and we're his Sims. You know what I mean? Yeah. I'm like, there's something. I'm not gonna say it's necessarily, you know, God and the devil, but there is something.
Yeah.
There's a film right there.
I know. Yeah, I was gonna say that. You're pitching a film rather than a simulation.
Yeah, I mean, people have talked about that ever since The Matrix. You know, everyone kind of jokes with just like, oh, we're in a simulation. And, you know, sometimes it's not necessarily that hard to believe, because how many times are you in a situation where, you know, things happen very accordingly to how you either want them to or don't want them to.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, it's always fun to think about. But those are conversations that can go on for a whole entire
Yeah. But it's that deja vu thing as well. That's a bit creepy, isn't it? When you've already seen it. That well creeps me out. So I literally know what's coming up. The deja vu thing is definitely, and I believe half the time it's sparked from dreams, you know, because you go through so many different cycles while you're sleeping that, you know, you could very well have had a similar situation. Yeah, definitely. It's crazy. You got any questions, Stu? I've been a bit quiet over there.
No, it's just I feel like the spare part here, because you two have got to know each other so well.
Yeah. As I was saying to Stu before we came on, like I don't even need to introduce him. I feel like we've been talking forever.
No, and that's always the fun part of, you know, just this whole entire industry is, you know, just meeting new people and new characters and new, you know, ventures. You know, that's honestly like what this whole entire thing is about. Like, you know, we chose to be a part of Neverland, you know, and for us to be able to actually, you know, really delve into that, and, you know, it's meeting people is what's going to always progress the craft. You know, it's not something that you can be like a mathematician where you're locked in your own room by yourself, you know, and doing that thing, or like a Stephen King, for example, you know, locking himself in a cabin in the woods for, you know, months on end and coming out with, you know, brand new novels. It's like we chose to do the filmmaking aspect of it, you know, and the filmmaking aspect will never get any better if you don't connect with more people.
Right. Who's the most sort of famous person you've ever met? Yeah, you've been starstruck by?
Ever met? J-Lo was at the studio this weekend. Last week. I want to say, as far as starstruck goes,
or do you even get starstruck?
Not really. You know, not anymore, because, you know, when I was younger, for sure, you know, like when I was on the set of Barbershop 2 in Chicago. You know, one of my friends ended up bringing us on there. You know, so I got to actually like sit down with Cedric the Entertainer, Eve, and Ice Cube. You know, and as a kid, you're just like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm doing this. But it's like, while you're out here, the more and more you kind of like start working with these people, you separate yourself from that, I guess, idol syndrome. and you really fall into keeping everybody, within arm's reach, because you do hope that they're your colleagues one day,
Right.
So that's kind of where that is. Now, that being said, I will say that a couple years ago, met Charlie Hunnam, and that was definitely a little bit of starstruck, because I literally saw Sons of Anarchy 3 times.
Yeah.
So when he walked into the bar, I was like, "It's Jax."
Yeah. See him as the character.
Yeah.
I'm like when I ever see the I can't remember his name, but the main character in Vikings.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, whenever I see him in a movie, it's like, oh, it's him. It's Vikings.
It's like typecast.
Yeah.
Yeah. You just link them with other movies, don't you, and series. Yeah,
I mean, it's always going to be like that, You're always going to take somebody from their most famous role, and that's what sometimes hinders a lot of people.
Yeah.
You'll have, like, for example, like Daniel Radcliffe, once he got done with Harry Potter, a lot of people were just like, "No, you're Harry Potter."
Yeah.
And it took him a while. That's why he started doing some really off the wall stuff, because he was just like, "Well, let me break that mold. Let me go into like some really weird stuff."
Yeah, he has done.
Harry Potter.
Yeah. It's like I was saying to you, Stu, but where we've spoke to actors and stuff like that and not really been starstruck. The one person I've been starstruck with is a space scientist, just because I didn't feel like I deserved to be talking to him, because he was so clever. That's the only time I've ever felt like, I can't believe it, he's speaking to me. You know what I mean? With actors, I can relate to them, but people with proper clever brains, it's like, ugh, it's a different world.
Oh yeah, no, I mean, I definitely understand that. You can talk to somebody that's scientist, and the thing is, it's not that they're necessarily much more clever than you.
Yeah,
it's their brain works in a different way that we can only dream of.
Yeah, they specialize in something.
Looking at us, they could never do the things we do. Like I remember when I was younger, I was in Czech, and I was dating this scientist actually for a few months.
Yeah,
and I was the same way. I was just like, I am not worthy of being in your presence. 6 languages. You are discovering the cure to cancer. I'm like, I should not be here. And we would talk about entertainment, because that's what I was into.
Yeah.
And she would be just absolutely dumbfounded about, like writing a song, because I used to do music, and I would perform for her, and she would just be like completely mind blown. And I didn't realize it then, but I do realize it now that, left brain people and right brain people, I think that they can amaze each other, and it's because they're capable of doing things that we, can't even fathom.
Yeah. It's like our game we play, Fact or Reset, which we were playing with you in a bit. Every time we play this with someone that's like a space scientist, something like that, they don't do well, because it's like silly questions you shouldn't know. Do you know what I mean?
It's not in their field of thought.
It's stuff they think about and throw it out. I don't need that information. So, but normal people was like, yeah, I like that. I'll take that in.
Yeah, it's not in their train of thought.
Yeah.
And as writers, we have to fill our minds with useless information, because you never know when it's going to actually like come in handy,
Yeah. It helps making movies.
Like I remember when I was writing the Suicide script, if you looked at my Google back then, I mean, I swear I would have been locked into a mental ward. I'm literally sitting there like, so what's the best way to slit your wrists?
Yeah.
And I went literally down a rabbit hole, just like Reddit, of like people's experiences. And I mean, I was like, yo, I'm nowhere near wanting to kill myself, but reading this stuff, I'm sitting here like, well, shit, I should try at least, right?
Well, we spoke about this the other day. Sorry, there was a guy that murdered his wife, but instead of just getting rid of the body, he searched online like every 5 minutes, like how to get rid of a body, how to burn a body, how to this. His search history was just full of all this, and then police came to his house, obviously, and arrested him. But it's kind of like makes you think, Christ, what am I searching? I best be careful what I'm searching. Because with Fact or Reset, I need to find fake facts. So one of them was a body will decay in 2 minutes, which was a load of waffle I made up. But I searched that on the internet and I thought, Christ, I'm going to get arrested. Trying to get rid of a body. So, yeah, you have to be careful what you search.
Oh, yeah. I mean, yeah, sometimes I have to even, like, tell myself, I'm like, no, probably shouldn't.
Just edit that. Because they're always watching.
Oh, yeah. That's why you got to go to the dark web.
Okay, so a big studio has just come up to you and said, we've got this big film coming up and we want you to direct it. We want you to choose the lead male and the lead female. Who would they be?
Good question.
I mean, honestly, like, as far as male goes, I would love to work with Bryan Cranston, and especially with recently him saying that he announced his retirement, you know, in what, 2-3 years?
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my God, I'm never going to get my chance.
It's crazy,
So,
like,
Bryan
what he's gone from, hasn't it?
Yeah.
It's
Just
mental.
absolutely amazing. And, you know, he just seems not only like the great actor, but he also seems like just an incredible human, you know.
Yeah.
Everything that I've seen with him and everything else, he just always seems like he's down to earth and he's gonna give you his all, you know. And so definitely when it comes to male, I would say Bryan Cranston.
Right.
When it comes to female, really don't have one that's, you know, like really stand out.
Well, these days you can pick another male as long as they identify as female.
Well, in that case, Aaron Paul is the female. No, I mean, I think as a female, you know, there is a lot of great actresses out there currently. Just trying to really, in my mind, I'm battling the childhood crushes versus actually good acting. But I think
I've got kind of an adult crush on Dana now since watching that film. Dana, I've kind of got an adult crush on Dana now.
Yeah, no, she's definitely great, you know, and I think that she has a lot of capabilities and everything else, and you know, it's just all about further growth. But yeah, probably Emmy Rossum. You know, I think she'd be really great to work with.
Right. Yep.
Good movie.
What's the movie based on?
I don't
Is it a
know
love
yet.
story?
I don't know yet. I've not got the script.
So,
but yeah, you Emmy Rossum and then Bryan Cranston as the dad.
yeah, it's going to have to be. It's going to get weird. So
There's a story right there.
Yeah. Has Aku and Dana said when they'll come on? Because we'd love to have both of them on together if they ever get time.
They're basically open, you know. If you if you'd like them both together, or if you'd like you know, them separately, you know, just let me know. I can talk to them, or you can reach out to them.
Yeah.
You know.
So Aku's definitely up to it. I've messaged him. I've not spoke to Dana yet. I followed her on Instagram, but she didn't follow me back, so I thought she didn't like me.
Or if you give me a timeline, I can basically ask them like, hey, would you want to be, you know, on in the next 2 weeks or something?
Yeah, that'd be brilliant.
Getting both on together.
Yeah, that'd be good, wouldn't it? Yeah, 2-on-2 action. Have you ever heard of Keith Lemon?
Keith Lemon?
Yeah, you've got similar features to Keith Lemon.
Yes. He's a comedian over here in England. His actual name is Francis Lee, isn't it?
Francis Lee. Yeah.
He does a character called Keith Lemon.
Yeah.
Oh, Lee Francis?
Yeah, Lee Francis. Yeah.
No.
Is that who you said?
Never heard of him.
No. Yeah, he's got dark humour, as you could say.
Very dark, adult humour.
I think it's the smile.
I think we all need to have a semi-dark humor, especially nowadays.
Yeah. So what time is it over there? If you don't mind me asking.
So right now it is 10:53.
Still early, yeah. We're at end of the day, yeah.
5 to 7 in the evening.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. You guys definitely had the better side of this coin.
Yeah.
Getting up after a night of drinking, like, oh, I gotta go upstairs for this interview thing.
What was you drinking last night?
It's always whiskey with me. And
is it whiskey?
Recently I've gotten into a whiskey and apple juice phase for some reason, because like it used to be whiskey and Coke, but for some reason I'm just not liking the Coke anymore.
I was talking about Coke earlier. You were saying no, it used to have cocaine in it. So maybe you'd enjoy it more if you had cocaine in it.
Yeah, I wouldn't like it better that way either. I've tried Coke a couple times in my life, and either time I sat there and I looked at my friend and I was just like, this is a waste of money.
Yeah, it is, yeah. Well, it's dangerous over America, isn't it? With fentanyl or whatever.
Especially now with the fentanyl and everything.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
People dying, even celebrities. Just dying from it.
Yeah, it's
scary
ridiculous.
time. So anyway,
yeah, that's why you try to stick with stuff that's, grown from the earth, except alcohol.
okay, so you're talking about weed.
Yeah, weed or even, shrooms. I mean, I would never do shrooms again, but when I did do them, I saw the universe.
I've never took shrooms, but I've been told to take shrooms because it's supposed to be really good, really opening.
Honestly, and like I said, this is from somebody that took them, over 10 times, I think. And I will never do them again. However, I will say that I think everyone should do them once, because it is, if you allow it to be, it can be a very spiritual experience, and it allows you to really deep dive into who you are and the things that you need to change in your life if you are looking for an answer.
Right. Yeah.
Wow.
Well, I've heard this rumour that if you go into this other dimension or whatever, that's apparently where your soul goes. Apparently you're entering where your soul's going. That's another...
I mean, well, so you're thinking of, I think, the even higher ones, like ayahuasca or something like that.
Oh yeah, ayahuasca. That's the one. Ayahuasca. We entered.
Yeah, I don't think shrooms necessarily have that ability. You definitely feel like you're on a different planet, but it's still very much inside this spectrum. I think that something like an ayahuasca, or even the what's the one that it only lasts like 15 minutes.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, it only lasts like 15 minutes, but I've had friends that have done it and been like, I feel like I've been gone a year.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I'm like, oh no.
They live a lifetime, don't they? They live years in this other planet and stuff, living a life, and then come back. It's like, how long have I been gone?
Yeah, no. One buddy explained it to me. I'm like, well, how does it feel? He's like, well, imagine a thermometer, and he's like, imagine it going up, and then when it reaches the top, it just explodes. And the second it explodes, you see tastes, and you like taste shapes. And I'm like, what? Yeah. I was like, no. He's like, you're in a kaleidoscope. And I said, I don't want to be in a kaleidoscope.
Yeah. That's not for me. Anyway, we'll play a game, fact or reset. So the aim of the game is say fact if you think it's a fact, or reset if you think I'm making it up and it's a load of waffle. If that makes sense.
Okay. Yep.
So it's basically true or false. So we'll start. Yeah.
We'll play the jingle.
Oh yeah, I've not even played jingle. I'm slacking. This is the first time we've had 2 guests on in one day, so I'm slacking now. Getting lazy.
Stand clear.
It's fact or reset. There's the head wobble he was on about.
There's the head wobble.
Every guest we have on has a head wobble to that song. I don't know why. So, we'll start. Giraffes digest their food in their necks.
Hang on, one more time.
Giraffes digest their food in their necks.
False.
Yeah, that's right.
You're on the board.
You're on the board with 1 point. Japan has over 200 flavours of Kit Kats.
True.
Yep, well done, you're on 2. The first car engine was designed by Ford, in brackets, motor wagon.
The first engine was designed by Ford.
Yeah.
He made the first car. I don't think they made the first engine. False?
Yeah, well done. on a roll here.
We're on 3 now.
Yeah. The platypus doesn't have a stomach at all. The esophagus.
Esophagus.
Yeah, that's the one. Well, I've not made this one up, have I? Goes straight to the intestines.
Well, since the giraffe one is false, and the fact that a platypus has a 3-headed penis, I'm going to go with true.
Yeah, it's true. Well done.
4.
I didn't know that, but that's a nice fact. I didn't know that one.
Right, we're on a good roll here now.
I know the cat's penis has like a barb duke, so the other cat can't escape. It basically rapes the other cat. All our bears have black polar bears. There's a P missing. Polar bears have black skin, and actually their fur isn't white, it's see-through.
So you're saying their skin is black?
And the fur is see-through.
How can their fur be see-through if their skin is black? Because then you would see...
It's a tough one.
Yeah, because like the whole their skin is black can make sense.
Yep.
But then the see-through fur is kind of like what throws me off, because I'm just like, well, you would see through to the black skin, right?
Right.
So let's go false.
It was true.
Really?
So the way they look white is the sun reflects off the snow and actually reflects a white looking skin.
No kidding.
So yeah, they got black
Yeah,
skin,
like
see-through fur.
that definitely threw me off. Is like I'm like, okay, I think they do have black skin, but the fur being see-through is throwing me off, because I'm like, all right, you would see through, but then yeah, it is true.
Yeah.
So okay, so then if you stuck them in a coal mine, would they be black bears?
That'd be racist. Yeah, probably. Yeah, you probably not see them camouflaged. Yeah, and that's the end of the game. You got 4 points. You are in 3rd place on the leaderboard.
Well done.
Hey,
Let's see if Aku and Dana can beat you. They've got a team, so it's going to be unfair. Joint decision.
yeah, they should be able to get first if they're teaming up.
Yeah. See, there you go. You're above 2 space scientists and a marine biologist.
Hey, look at that.
There you go. He's all the actors. All the actors are at the top.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I don't know why. All the actors seem to know the facts.
Well, because like I said, we need to, have like just information,
general
that
knowledge.
you may not necessarily need.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Just
you've got
random
to
facts.
have a mind like a sponge, haven't you, to absorb
Everything.
crap, basically.
Yeah. No, it's really true. Like, especially as a writer, you really have to sit there and just like, okay, what scenario, or what is this or what is that? And some of the weirdest stuff is honestly like I said, the whole platypus having a 3-headed penis. Like,
Yeah.
that was literally just writer's research.
For your next documentary, that. So, have you ever thought about doing a documentary yourself? Is that anything that's...
No, I don't. I'm not going to say that I, don't like documentaries, but I don't completely enjoy them as a lot of people do.
Yeah.
I can watch them once in a while. Honestly, the biggest ones that I'll ever watch are, actually about like a serial killer or the mind.
Yeah. I'm obsessed with serial killer podcasts. I don't know why. So interesting.
Yeah. And honestly, the only reason that, I kind of do that stuff is because, when I'm writing a horror film,
Yeah.
it really does give you inspiration from real killers, and stuff like that. But watching a documentary about somebody's life, like Dana's asked me, not even 6 months ago, she was just like, hey, you want to go watch this documentary about this person? And I was like, no, I really don't. Can I do a hobo with you?
Yeah. Because you want to make a documentary.
I'd love to make a documentary. Yeah. Got a couple of ideas I want to do, but it's whether I'll ever get the chance to do it.
Yeah.
Well, you should. All you got to do is, honestly, when it comes to anything documentary style, the first and foremost thing that you want to do is reach out to the people that are, involved in that subject matter, and see if you can get the life rights to it. Once you get the life rights to it, then you basically just go hog wild, and you're gonna literally get 500 hours of material that you have to cut down into an hour.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Not that Chimp Empire. They had, I think it was something like 255 hours. They needed cut down to 16.
Wow.
It was mental. Yeah. I don't even watch that Chimp Empire. You wouldn't have if you don't watch documentaries, but it's interesting.
A chimpan Bayou?
A chimp can buy you.
It's his accent.
Oh, yeah,
Chimp
it's my accent.
Empire.
Chimp Empire.
Oh, Chimp Empire.
Yeah, it's on Netflix.
I thought when he originally told me, I thought he said Chimp Vampire.
Which is a totally different documentary.
Is that northern accent of yours?
It is. It's my accent, sorry. But yeah, it's good. So have you got any plans for the rest of your day?
Today, no, really just kind of chilling. It's July 4th weekend here, so basically got a long weekend. Today's going to be kind of chilling, maybe do a little bit of research, and by research I mean watching a couple other horror movies.
Pick some ideas.
Yeah, honestly, sometimes it's just good to watch, certain ones. Last night we watched The Summer of '84, and what was really cool about it and what kind of intrigued me is because one of the main characters, they're kind of like a little detective. Yeah. And they're basically researching this serial killer that's living in their town, and he suspects it to be the cop. Right. That's loved by everybody and stuff like that. And funny enough, in the script that we're writing, we're kind of formulating our main characters to be kind of like mini detectives. So the reason that I watched that film was solely just to really encapsulate what another writer was able to do with detectives around that same high school range. Right. And sometimes it's literally you watch it and go, wow, that I learned nothing from that, and good. And sometimes you get something from it where you go, oh, that's a cool, interesting twist. Yeah. Or there's the third time, which is the hardest one, and that's when you watch something and go, fuck, that's exactly my idea. Starting.
Yes. Start again.
So is that what it's like being a director or a producer, or whatever? Is when you're watching other people's films, you're kind of critiquing them to yourself.
Yeah, I think you're always going to critique, and especially when you first start out. I know that Anthony and I definitely had a very hard time when we were writing and then watching other films, because you would sit there and be like, oh, well, according to formula, this is what's going to happen next, and you would ruin the movie for yourself. Yeah. So you kind of get to a point where you allow yourself to separate the fantasy world and your work life, and that's it's kind of like a superpower in itself, because no matter how many movies you watch, you still want to be like, this is what I would do. Yeah. So yeah, definitely it is hard because you do critique and all that kind of stuff. But at the end of the day, you have to kind of put yourself in that back seat and just be like, hey, this is another story. This is by another storyteller, and respect their craft by allowing to see it through an audience eyes. And 9 times out of 10, we're able to do that. It's just these other times that, you watch a specific movie because you actually are trying to learn something from it, or you're trying to see if you are, because the last thing you want to do, I mean, some people are proud of it, but like myself and Anthony, we hate copying other people's stuff. Yeah. So if we see something that's anywhere remotely similar to what we're doing, we're just like, we need to see what they're doing, and however they're doing it, we better be far enough away that no one's going to be able to recognize it unless, whatever. And otherwise, like we've worked like 3 weeks on a project and then found a project that had, very similar vibe, and we've thrown it out the window and said, nope, forget about that idea. There's no point.
Have you ever dreamt of ideas?
Yeah, just when I wake up, I don't know how to make sense of them.
That's exactly what I do with you. So what I do, right, with podcast, I'll write down whatever I'm thinking, and then I'll talk to Stu about it. So I've woke up and wrote down something about dog poo, and Stu listening to classified James Bond music. I was like, what does that mean? I was trying to explain it to Stu, I didn't have a clue. But last night I had a dream, and you know how you've got your little intro video for your movie?
The which one?
The intro to your movie. Your
out to the garage?
Yeah, well, I had dreamt of like an intro from someone else's movie. I thought, that would have been such a good intro for us. And then woke up, I'm like, it's not a real intro, that's in my head. So I've made an intro in my head that we could use by accident.
Nice.
But I don't know how I'm going to do it. It was a bit of a weird one.
Now, does that idea consist of, your partner listening to music while looking at dog poo?
I hope not.
It doesn't, though. So what it was like a zoomed out shot of like this white house, but it was like dark. It was like really dark. And then this door opens, and then for some reason these balloons come out, and then Get Fat comes out. I don't know where it came from. It was just an idea in my head.
Hang on, so what's it start off as?
So it's like it's almost like an house, like a white house, and it's zooming out, but it's like half the house is covered with darkness, and then this door opens, and then it's like almost like a load of balloons come out, and then the Get Fact comes on, which is our promotion. I don't even get where it came from. It's like it's random. I think I've been watching it.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's got a very in vibe or up vibe.
Yeah, it's a good film. I hope, to be fair.
I'm starting to worry about you now.
Yeah, I told you I've got a weird mind.
Hey, but you know what? Change it from White House to White Hose.
Yeah. White hose.
That's honestly what I thought you were saying at first. I was like, a white hose? What?
It's the accent again.
It is, yeah.
I'll have to translate for you.
Yeah.
Dude, it's hilarious. Honestly, like, you would not believe. I mean, of course you believe. Just the amount of like accents, difference in like just English from different areas. Like even in the United States, you can literally be talking to a Southern person and be sitting there the whole time like, what? What'd you just say?
Yeah.
They're like, oh yeah, the fucking thing over there. And you're just like, dude, I don't know if you need to slow down or speed up, but like whatever speed you're at right now, I don't understand it.
Yeah, it's too much. I should have come with subtitles. It would have been easier.
But we have the same sort of thing with the Scottish accents as well, because if you get sort of really deep Scotland, you've got no chance. Yeah,
it becomes impossible, doesn't it?
Yeah. You need a translator because it's in bits. What?
See, and I heard that. And what about the Brad Pitt character? Is that real? Like
the Irish.
Oh, that was fantastic.
The Irish.
Well, the thing is with gypsies, it's their
own sort of.
It's their own language that's very similar to Irish.
Yeah,
it's
well,
like
it is
Irish
based, isn't it? But they have their own sort of angle on it. Only they can understand themselves.
Yeah. Fantastic film, that though. Brad Pitt played it well, didn't he?
He did.
Get a caravan with everything, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Brad Pitt, I'm surprised he weren't on your list of actors that you'd like to work with. He's like the biggest actor, isn't he? Brad Pitt, male actor.
I mean, honestly, Brad Pitt would be a lot of fun to work with.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say that he's not somebody that I wouldn't, but yeah. You gave me a choice of only one actor.
Yeah.
I didn't even say Dead or Alive as well, did I?
I know, yeah.
Oh well.
Never mind.
We'll use that one for Aku and Dana then.
Yeah.
The which word?
Oh, sorry?
The which word?
I was saying that I was on about the actor and actress you'd like to work with. I didn't give you the option of whether they're dead or alive or not.
Yeah.
So I'll save that one for Aku and Dana.
Oh, there you go.
Which director would they like to work with, dead or alive?
Yeah.
The answer better be Yonash. If not,
Well, she'd be mad to find out you didn't say her for when you're actors. Just say it now, we'll just edit it.
It doesn't go. It's not both.
Oh, it's not both ways.
Who would you like to work with in addition to who you've already worked with? And then for them, it should be who's your dream director? Well,
Yeah. Suppose that works.
Should just tip them off and say they're going to ask you a trick question about directors. Just make sure you say me.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I honestly, like, nobody should ever necessarily want to say that they want to work with the same person twice, you know? Like, you should always be open and wanting to experience other people's, you know, styles, and, you know, because if you work with the same person over and over again, you're never going to learn, you know, something different from somebody else. And I think that as a director, as a, you know, writer, you have so much that can be different from the, you know, next director and the next writer. So for an actor to be able to really interpret it in their own way, but two different styles, is, you know, a really, really something powerful that, you know, they carry with them to the next project. And just like a director, you know, you're not gonna direct the same actor the same way that you would direct another actor. You know, that's the one thing that I definitely learned, you know, doing my short films. I was like, I can't talk to that person the same way I talk to that person.
Right.
You know, you really have to feed into what they need at that moment.
Yeah. So at what point was you confident enough to ask for actors to be a part of your role, like your script? Because at the minute it was just me and Stu acting in our movies. Cause I'm too scared to ask actors in case they think my script's shit.
Well, first off, you should never be scared, because even an actor that may not necessarily, I don't know, understand formatting and stuff like that. Yeah. They're gonna enjoy the story as long as the story is worth being told. You know? Yeah. So you should never sit there and, you know, really over contemplate that kind of stuff. You should really just go into it and do it, you know. When it comes to, you know, finally getting the balls to get an actor, honestly, I don't think I ever was completely ready. I just decided, like, hey, I'm ready to make a movie. Let's make a movie. Yeah. You know? And even though I wasn't completely ready for it, and I was scared, you know, you're always going to be scared your first time, your second time, your third time. Like, even directing The Death of Us, even though I know both the actors super well, I was still, you know, scared in my own way, because as they're, you know, basically rehearsing the scene before we actually started filming, I'm literally sitting there like, yeah, that sounded good. How the fuck am I going to shoot this scene?
So have you ever had any bad experiences with actors where you thought you've hired them and they're like, yeah, they're crap?
I'm not going to say that I necessarily had a bad venture with actors, right? Because you do start to realize, obviously there is the whole prima donna aspect of things. Luckily, I have not had one of those on set. You know, where it's basically my way or the highway, get the fuck out. You know, like, I've always had very respectful actors that have always been willing to listen. Yeah. And it was up to me to get the performance that I needed out of them. So with that being said, I did work on a film where, it was The Crew. And it was really upsetting because we were working on, very dramatic pieces, pieces that like the actor themselves needed to get into, very emotional, almost on the verge of tears.
Yeah.
And in between takes, they were cracking jokes. And I was just like, what the fuck is the matter with you guys? Like, you're literally asking somebody to feel like they're on the verge of, tears, but you're cracking these dumbass jokes that have absolutely nothing to do with what we're shooting right now. So from there forward, I really stepped back and I started to realize that, not only trying to get what you need out of the actors, but also knowing what you need to get out of a scene. Like, everyone needs to be on the same page. Everyone needs to realize, what you're doing. If you're filming a comedy, crack jokes in between, takes, because you're trying to get comedy out of them, but like to me, that was just extremely disrespectful to the actor, because you're expecting them to go dramatic after trying to make them laugh,
making a job out of it.
Exactly. So like I said, when it comes to actors, I've been, very fortunate that, all my actors have always very much, looked to me for counsel, and I've been able to, guide them the best way that I could. And in the beginning, it wasn't the greatest. Like I said, I would kind of direct one person the same way I would direct another person. And it wasn't until, 3 films in that I realized, like, you can't talk to everybody the same way. Each person needs a different source of guidance.
Have you ever done like a movie that you've not finished and then had to tell the people that was acting in it that you're not finishing that movie?
As far as filming?
Yeah.
I've always finished anything that I've gone out to start, because I feel that just like the thing that you just said, you have other people that are expecting that material. So if you filmed it, you better finish it, because you have other people that, to you, it may not be anything, but to them, it could be the world. It could be something that they want to add to their reel. It could be something that, is really going to change their lives. So
well, that was based on personal preference, because I know I've mentioned it like 3 times in this podcast, but I once did a movie where I was the main actor, but he'd see me in another movie, like a short movie, and he wanted me to be the main guy instead of this other guy that I applied for. So I did the whole script. And then I remember going back the day after for like this, to finish it off to the final bits. And then he messaged me saying, we've lost such person, so we can't do it. And then I said, no, it's just replan the day. And then he never got back to me. So I was constantly messaging, like, this is still going through. And then eventually just blanked me, just disappeared. So it's kind of like, then it puts it on me to think I did a bad job. And, they didn't have the funds to finish it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But then it's bad on their to not contact you and say, look, we're not going through with it anymore. It's a simple message, because then it leaves you in limbo, basically.
No, and that's exactly it. Honestly, like, in the, and stuff like that happens. So honestly, if you were to like run out of budget or something like that, it sucks. But at the end of the day, you still have a responsibility, especially if you decided to helm that ship. You have a responsibility to tell your actors, like, hey, bottom line, this was not my decision. If I could, I would finish this straight out. But money got pulled, or this happened, or that happened. And honestly, like, if there's anything I can do to remedy this, let me know. And even half the time, the director or whatever would have some of that footage. At the very least, they could just be like, hey, like, let me at least give you your scenes. That way you can, do what you will with them. If the project is already tanked, if it's already trashed, the least you can do is, give that footage to your actor so they can at least have something from that experience.
Yeah, because I was trying to find a way of telling Stu I'm replacing him, but that's perfect. So yeah, Stu, so
I get it. Fine.
So it's been great talking to you anyway, but it's getting a bit late here now, and I've got to put my son in bed. I've disowned him for about 4 hours. So yeah, I'll let you get on with your thing and we'll get on with ours, and we'll try and message Dana and Aku, see if they'll come on, or you can talk to them, either way.
Yeah, like I said, let me know. I can if you have kind of a do you have kind of a rough timeline? Like, do you want me to tell them like, hey, 2 weeks from now, are you guys down? Or
2 weeks.
do you have
We've
any
got
sort
no
of
2 weeks from now.
Yeah, we can put them down for that.
Yeah, 2 weeks. Yeah, I'll
and it would
I'll send you a
Sunday,
calendar
or-
if you want. You can just pick one then. Pick one of the days.
Yeah. Send me a calendar and
Yeah.
I'll run it by them and see what they're kind of into, and then I can have them, message you as well.
Brilliant.
Fantastic.
That's chairs doing me in. Squeaking. All right.
Hey, you guys have been fantastic. Thank you so much for having me on. And
Thank you
honestly,
for
even
coming
in
on.
the preempt to, actually getting on this interview with you guys, it was wonderful getting to know you. And I hope that even from here on out, definitely keep in contact. And
Yeah, definitely.
if you guys have any sort of questions and stuff like that when it comes to script, like seriously, by all means, definitely. I love, like I said, I wouldn't have got to where I was if it wasn't for the guidance that other people above me gave me. So
Yeah.
I'm always willing to, whatever I know, if I can help.
The research on the script thing, yeah. Did you look up online for that? The scripts? Like, did you go on a course to learn how to script?
No, so the original way that I learned how to script was actually, like you said, Googling scripts. Like literally,
Examples.
look up script. And the thing is, do not look up writer director. If you look up writer director, you're screwed because Tarantino scripts. I love his films, but his are absolute hell. Like, yeah. His scripts when it comes to formatting are just not like they're not something that you can't look at it as a screenwriter and use it as an example. Like I think it was Hateful Eight. He literally was like, we open up on this 35 millimeter cinematic shot of Colorado. And then the next line is, still while in 35 millimeter, we are looking at these trees and vast valleys, blah, 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 blah. And then it's like, and here comes a horse carriage, still in 35 millimeter.
Just like chaos.
Bro, like, we get the idea. You're shooting it in 35 millimeter.
Yeah.
So definitely the one piece of advice that I will say is look up a movie that you like and make sure that your writer and your director are two separate people.
All right. So
for example, Training Day is a good one because you have Anthony Fuqua that was the director, I believe, and then David Ayers was the writer.
Right. So
Okay, so you're writer, I'm director.
I know, yeah. I was thinking that when he was saying that. I was like, I'm gonna have to sack myself.
And I've hired myself.
But yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely look them up. I think I have one recent website that I sent to myself.
Yeah.
It's a good place to kind of go for.
Yeah. Well, we've been playing a game lately, haven't we? Where we've downloaded like a few bits of script sites that say Titanic.
Yeah.
But then we've got a box here of different voices that we have to act in. So it could be like Scooby-Doo doing the Titanic.
Oh, there you go.
Just a little bit of play on trying to get rid of it.
Yeah.
Getting used to acting.
Hey, you should honestly. All those games help.
Yeah.
Not only even if you don't nail the voices, at least being comfortable.
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing is just making sure that you let loose. Like honestly, when it comes to the acting advice that like I just carry with me till this day was Michael Caine on acting. The one line that always resonated with me was, if you think you look like a dumbass, you probably look like a dumbass.
Yeah.
Or I think he said asshole. I forgot like the exact word, but it was basically that. It's like, if you think you look like an asshole, you probably look like an asshole. He's like, if you believe in the role that you're playing, then other people will believe it with you. But how are they supposed to believe it if you don't believe it yourself?
Yeah.
So that's the essential of it. So anytime that you go into acting, exude confidence because your audience will be able to tell.
I thought he was going to go with, he was only supposed to blow the bloody doors off from Italian Job. Well, yeah, that one's good as well.
No, that was actually his book. If you haven't yet, you should definitely read his book on acting.
Yeah, will do.
He's another one that's never been younger, has he? He's always been old,
always
like
looked old,
Morgan
hasn't he?
Freeman. Yeah, they've always been old. All right. Anyway, we'll let you get off anyway.
Hey, no, definitely. It's been an absolute blast. Thank you so much for having me on. And let me know when you guys release and on what platforms and everything else. Because I know people are definitely going to be excited to listen in as well.
Yeah. Thanks for coming on, even though you're slightly hungover.
Nah, the hangover stopped
right.
as soon as I saw your beautiful faces.
Yeah.
And happy 4th of July for Tuesday.
Yeah.
Hey, thank you so much.
Yeah. Enjoy yourself.
All right, gents. So much.
Thank you very much.
All right, see you later. Thank you.
All right. Later.
Bye. Another great guest. Two guests that are back
Lots
to
of
back.
good advice there.
Yeah. Look how long we've been recording this episode.
Christ. I'm going to be in trouble when I get
They
home.
can't release that episode as one. 3 hours 27.
I better get home, hadn't I?
And I think we can definitely split that.
I think I'll have to split that one.
Half,
two episodes there.
We've got 2 1 hour 40 minutes there, haven't we?
Which is a good.
Good recording session, that. Just going to sort the kid out now.
Yeah, better get home and have my tea.
No, yeah. Oh, I had to run off halfway through that. I was blasting for a week.
And I'm busting now.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, sorry, just
I saw you edging. There.
I felt like, well, I'm enjoying talking to him, so I don't want to cut it, because in a way it's like,
and
I'll
I was
just
like,
come back.
And I couldn't think of anyone. It's like, oh, damn, Steve left me with it.
Yeah.
What can I say? I can't even remember what I asked him.
No, you know, it lasted.
No.
Like, yeah, well, that's all from us with a 3 hour episode. 3 hour 28. It's been great. Both guests have been fantastic. Yeah. We forgot to ask for some sad signatures. Oh my god. I'll
email him, get on to him. On to him. He might send us some merch.
Yes, oh yeah, away from America. It's just cost him 60 quid. Send us a hat or something. Yeah. Well, that's all from us.
Yes.
At the Get Fact. I hope you enjoyed this episode, or / 2 episodes. We're going to have to do another outro, aren't we?
Yeah. Special thanks to our guest, Yonash Breneman.
Yeah. And it's been wonderful. If you've got any emails you want to send to contact@getfact.co, and go to our website to listen to all our episodes, which is www.getfact.co. And if you want to buy some merch, just email us. We've not got any, but we can buy some. It's been great. Thanks for listening.
Bye for now.
Bye.